Now, some of you have heard, I got enough time, great. Some of you have heard my talk, I know the parents have heard my talk about 27 verses 72. Who's heard my talk, 27 verses 72? Oh, 3 people, good. It's not going to be a review. So I think about this a lot, about influences on kids and where their influences are coming from. Hours, minutes, days, I think about it. And so there's a little thing I came up with, 27 verses 72. So if we think about it, would you call church spiritual training? Is that something we call spiritual training? Right? Makes sense. Spiritual training is training of eternal things, not temporary things. Eternal things that will always be there. And then we have other activities that we can do. We have extracurricular activities. We have, oh my gosh, kids these days have everything under the sun they can do, right? Would you call those activity training? Right? Activity training, specialized activity training. So, bear with me here. I'm going to get around to it, I promise. So, there's a stat in the U.S. that people who say that they attend church once a month. People who say they regularly attend church say they when they really get down to it, they really attend church once a month. That's about an hour and a half. But let's say that we're all got it together here at Compass. That we all got it together here at Compass, and we go twice a month. We go twice a month. So that's 3 hours, right? An hour and a half each. So 3 hours a month that we're in church, our kids are in church. That's the stat across the U.S. Now let's just take the school year, for example. 9 months of the school year, right? 9 months of the school year. 9 months times 3 hours a month is 27 hours, right? 27 hours of spiritual training, okay? You got that? 27 hours of spiritual training in a school year, okay? Now let's look at the other side. Let's look at, not the other side, but something else that goes on. Let's look at activity training. Specialized activity training. Like I said, kids got everything under the world. I tried to remember all of them. Piano, dance, guitar, baseball, softball, gymnastics, football, hockey, basketball, skiing, boarding, swimming, tons of stuff, right? And most of the kids who are in these things, they usually have at least an hour practice a week, and they usually have at least an hour game during the week, right? Is that fair enough? 2 hours a week? Who thinks that's a low estimate? I'm going to keep it a low estimate just for the sake that you know that I'm not trying to inflate the numbers. I'm shooting straight. Even though it's probably a lot more. 2 hours a week, okay, so 2 hours a week. There's how many weeks in a month? There's 4 weeks in a month. That's 8 hours a month, right? 8 hours a month, which is a low estimate of hours a month if they're in an activity of some sort. So you take 8 hours a month, you multiply it times 9 months, and how many do you have? 72. You have 27 versus 72. You have 27 hours of spiritual training and 72 hours of other training. 27 hours of eternal training, Jesus the same, it's the yesterday, today, and forever, and then you have 72 hours of training of other things. Now, I'm not saying that you're supposed to just not let your kid do sports or do activities. I was that kid that was in everything. I was that kid that was in everything. But you know what? My parents had this thing where they believed tithing was the first 10%. And they also believed that our schedule, we give the first 10% of our schedule to God too. And that's been carried over to me, and I hope to instill it in my daughter, is to always give that first 10% to the Lord. And I'm not saying that, I'm saying it's different seasons in your life, you know, the 27 is going to be higher sometimes, the 72 is going to be lower. I'm just saying be aware as a parent of the lopsidedness of what's going on, okay? Because parents, we're the ones that's going to change this. We are the ones that are going to change this, not our kids. We are the ones that are going to change this. So if the one team's 27 and one team's 72, one team's getting spanked most of the time. So all I ask you for you as parents is to consider increasing that 27 hours as much as you can. And here's the thing about the two that are very different. When one's eternal, one's not. One is free. Church is free. Youth group is free, unless they want to buy pizza. Youth group is free. Church is free. Parents, are these activities free? No way! They cost a big bucks. I was talking to a friend of mine who's a dad. He told me it was $10,000 a season for one of his traveling son's 10-year-old teams. $10,000 a season? I'll get off my rant now. But you have all heard the 27 versus 72 story now.